Hello, everyone. I'm Ma Yansong. I'm an architect. Uh, I'm from Beijing, China. I work in China. So I build many buildings in China and other places. The reason I'm here because we're also building the Lucas Museum of Narrative Arts in Los Angeles. I find building here is very similar as we build in China. You need a big parking lot. There are so many cars. So I'm not expert on cars or mobility or traffic. But from my angle, I want to talk about how building react to this new world. You have more and more cars. Doesn't matter you share or you drive. I think car designers, they always trying to make a nicer cars. They want people stay more time in the car. And me, I want to people stay in the building more time than on the road. So today I'm going to show 3 recent projects we are doing in China, also in Australia. The first one actually it's about urban planning. We were designing one sports park. They call sports park, but normally you have several large buildings with a lot of people and a lot of cars. And that's their original master plan. They follow the smaller urban block concept. So they have a lot of roads to make the traffic flow smooth. But I have another idea. I had a commission, then I suggest them to turn these 9 urban blocks into one and turn the whole big block into a park. And then inside the park, we have this stadium, swimming pool, but we also covered all these buildings by green. Underneath the park, we'll have the traffic, the road, and a parking structure. So that's a bird view. You see how large is the site. They had 9 parcels before, and they were evaluating if we make it in one, what about the traffic? What about the through traffic? Of course, people come here as a destination, they will go into the parking structure, but what about other people? They just want passing by. And then we had this evaluation, and then we add one road underneath the park. So in China, we don't build the parking structures like towers. Everything go underground. Maybe it costs a little more, but you don't see cars when they park. But here, you see very large buildings. We merge them into the landscape. So that's a stadium. Behind the stadium, you see a mountain. The mountain is it's a parking structure, actually. You can park multiple level cars in the landscape. And that's the traffic master plan. We have the urban road around the whole parcel, and then also around each building. This dotted blue line will be the tunnel. That's the main tunnel, go through the side. With this tunnel, the traffic will be okay. And then around the side, maybe traffic will become slower, but I think slower is okay. Why people have to rush? Slower, and you can see the beautiful park. You want to rush because the city is so ugly. You want to get away, right? But actually, why we want the cars to slow down and not many highways? Because all this area will turn into pedestrian friendly. We have bicycles, running, and walking. And this is just one parcel. In the future, what if we linked all the pedestrian system from here to the surrounding cities? So the sporting facilities not just for competitions or matches anymore. It become part of the park, and then citizens they can come enjoy the nature, enjoy the slow motion. And then building will look like this. You will not only walking on the surface, you can climb the mountain. So we create the building as a mountain, and people can climb. They can walk around and go up to the top. But why they're doing that? It's not there's no destination or there's no goal or there's no efficiency even. People enjoy that. If you make an environment so beautiful, people will like to spend more time on slower speed. So that's the one. So here is a one bird view. You see all these buildings are connected. You don't see any parking, and and people can go to any buildings by walk. They can also go into the mountain. They can go outside the mountain. The second one, we designed this a tall building in Melbourne, Australia, in South Bank. There are a lot of towers. I think towers they're good. They turn the city in the vertical. I think Beijing has the same problem as Los Angeles. The city is so flat. You have to drive so far, but you don't get anywhere. You just drive, and you're passing by so many things. Has nothing to do with you. So when the city become the density is a proper density, then maybe the vertical feeling can reduce, because you can compact all the program in one structure. So in this case, we designed this building called the Urban Tree with mixed use office, hotel, residential, commercial, everything in one building. So that's and at the design philosophy, we want to create this nature experience in the city center. Although it's a very large structure, but we try to find a human scale. So we find that this village space, and we try to put the small buildings on top of each other and mix with the greens. So such a building, there's no space for parking. We don't want big parking. Normally they put the parking structure above grade, but we don't want we don't have a space for that. So that's all the green, all the human. Below the grade, because the water level is so high, it's so expensive to do that. So how do we park? So we use one corner, use this mechanical system that you can find in many places in Japan, in China. You see a little entrance, and then the car goes somewhere you don't see. So it's actually a tower, very compact at the corner of the building. So by doing this, you save a lot of space. You have no ramp, no people. It's like a car bookshelf, and then the robot will bring the car in there. So you arrive, you leave the car at the entrance, and then when you try to leave from your office or home, you push the button, and then 30 seconds later, the car shows up. So I think this is another way. When the city becomes so compact, so tall, so dense, the car structure should follow. They shouldn't take too much space. So that you can see that the space we designed for city and the human, the space we designed for cars. Maybe the car in the future, they should fold by themselves. When there's no people, the car should getting smaller. To save the space. This airport we're building in China, because of this location, it's not a big airport. It's a smaller regional airport. They have to build a runway on the mountain. So the original master plan was to make a huge flat area. Of course, the runway has to be flat, but the airport, the terminals, everything, they changed the landscape. They changed the mountain into a flat area. But after that, we did a building design, and then we suggest to change the master plan and use the typology, use the natural levels to accommodate different programs, including the parking. So here you see that this is a big water pond. That's actually a roof of a parking structure. Underneath that is the whole garage. And the water surface actually is all solar panels with a very shallow water on top of it to produce the solar energy. So, so this airport, normally you see a lot of cars in front of the terminal, but here you don't see any car. You see a beautiful pond, and then that's the level change. It's a very dramatic level change. And then the water, you see, there's a single level garage, and then follow the steps, follow the topography, we build more buildings on the hillside. So those buildings will use for future hotels, commercials, and dormitory. So that's the traffic. That's for car, but the car will go into the water. So that's the structure underneath the water. From the airport, if you see out, you will see this. You will see the landscape, the mountains, the water. And this reflecting pool is a solar panel underneath, like I mentioned before. And you don't see any cars. So why don't we don't want to see cars? We want to encourage the pedestrian, so people can go there not only for the flight. We try to turn this into an urban space, a destination, a beautiful scenery. We have a restaurant, cafe, hotel, also residential around this terminal. So you won't have heavy traffic anymore. They all embedded into the landscape. And then the whole airport will become part of this landscape as well. And that's stepping down a green terrace. Underneath each terrace, you will have an office building also with a beautiful view. So that's my when I deal with architecture or urban planning, I think we have to build a building in 4 or 5 years. Maybe the car industry doesn't change so fast, and people still need a lot of space linked with each destination. So I think my job is to find a way how people park their cars and in the city, in the building. So I think maybe making those space as a part of nature, including the architecture space as a part of nature, then any negative space will become positive. Maybe you can use this space even for more urban activities. So that's my solution. Thank you very much.